song is next.
What is up, everybody? This is Not a Newbie. I am back with yet another stream. What is poppin', you guys? I'm thinking today I'm gonna do a bit of a more chill stream. So a good portion of today's stream will just be a Card 3 SMP stream. However, there's a couple crazy stories. Well, yeah, I think there are a couple crazy stories out of Ohio. I want to try and cover. One of them's kind of related to the series of videos that I posted regarding the whole incident with the stabbing, because that's kind of exploded into a whole lot of different things and gotten caught up in things that are going on in mainstream Christian culture right now that I think would probably be good to dive into and explore on some level. And it's taken a higher level view, which I think makes it easier, I think, and probably better to cover. Because it's going to be... Oh, let me see. Let me pull this down here. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and dive right into the coverage here. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 minute here. Alrighty. So I'm about ready to dive in. Alright. So if you guys have been keeping up with my videos on the 9UB Clips channel, you guys are most likely aware of the situation that's been going on at Cedarville University. Long story short, one student, a female student, stabbed a male student, and you know, in the aftermath of all of that situation, there have been a lot of rumors because people just didn't know a lot of details. Now, as time passed, a few more details did still get released, but then it turns out that the identity of the person who got stabbed was kind of being, protected, I guess, to a certain extent. And, you know, that completely makes sense because I believe the individual is a minor. The individual who's been identified is a minor, so that completely makes sense just from a privacy perspective. But what complicated things is that this individual has multiple Title IX complaints against them. So if you're not familiar with what a Title IX complaint is, it's essentially a government program that a lot of universities have, where if you feel like you're being sexually harassed or been mistreated sexually, you can go to a Title IX representative at the university that you attend, and they can take your complaint and have that complaint looked into. Because this individual has numerous complaints against him, and that I know of, none of the investigations into those complaints have been completed as of yet. Still, my word on that is a little bit iffy, but that's just as far as I know when it comes to that situation. Now, in light of the rumors that were going around about him having Title IX complaints against him, and the rumors that nothing was being done about it, when in fact things actually were being done about it, that kind of sparked more debate and conversation among the Cedarville University community. Because over the past few years, there have been a group of Cedarville University students who have been upset about how Cedarville University handles Title IX cases. Now, the stories vary, right? And Cedarville University, doesn't always handle things poorly. There are instances even when, students are able to get restraining orders against other students on campus. So it's not like Cedarville University handles everything poorly, but it's just that there's a disgruntled group who really wants the university to do a bit better when it comes to handling Title IX. Now, the complaints vary. Many people feel like they're being ignored. From what I've seen, it seems to be largely a communications issue, that a lot of people who put forward complaints to Title IX aren't getting heard back from. But again, I don't know if that's a universal thing. It could just be something that happens in a few cases, or it could be something that's being misreported. But there seems to be a growing tenor around a lot of the internet discourse as well that is largely upset that, you know, as soon as someone puts forward a complaint, action isn't taken against the person who's been like accused of the impropriety. But you know, that just kind of goes against the how our current justice system works. However, in light of all the controversies, this kind of stirred up that you know, that section of the Cedarville University student body is just in general raised questions about Cedarville University's handling of Title IX incidents, and kind of in light of the fact that up until the point where this occurs, the university hadn't really addressed the situation, and they kind of have like kept it quiet. The, you know, Cedarville, let's pull this up here. The Cedarville Interpreter decided to do this campaign here, to do a walkout during chapel. It's called the Voice for Victims walkout, and the motto is support the silent stand with survivors. And they write in the caption, "Please share. It's time to stand up for victims of sexual assault and harassment on Cedarville's campus. Let's make a statement to show our support and show the administration how much this means to us. Stand with us on Monday." Now, I did tune into the live stream that the Cedarville Interpreter put out that sort of like discussed their plans for this ahead of time. And one big reason why they planned it out like this is because they didn't really know, you know, a way to, you know, do a protest in a way that would be visible to Cedarville University, especially the administration. They didn't know a better way to pull it off than to, you know, do it by walking out during a chapel while Dr. White, the president of the university, was speaking, because it's very visible. It'd be harder for him to ignore because they're doing it right in front of him. And of course, you know, not everyone chose to walk out. A lot of people chose to wear teal, which is a universally accepted color that represents standing with victims of sexual assault and harassment. And yeah, so they planned that walkout on February 10th. Now, there is a completely different group of Cedarville University students, and the university, to some extent, appears to be on board with this, but they haven't taken an official side, that seems to kind of favor silence over speaking out. And, you know, the Cedarville Encourager ended up putting out a post titled "Gossip in its Destructive Nature," and, you know, they kind of like talk about, you know, gossip, and it's not in, you know, the message against gossip, you know, isn't, you know, a bad thing. You know, definition: gossip is often defined as spread of rumors or information, spread of rumors or information of a personal, sensational, or intimate matter. The verification of said content being questionable by nature. This is not to be confused with speculation, which involves thinking about or discussing a subject with inconclusive evidence, though gossip and speculation can easily overlap at times if people are not careful with their words. So it's a very true statement. But unfortunately, you know, even the verse here at the end, where it says, "Even a fool who keeps silent is considered wise. When he closes his lips, he is deemed intelligent." Unfortunately, some of the rhetoric from this article, while completely true, has been weaponized and used to kind of like silence people from speaking about the situations that kind of occurred on campus. Now, Cedarville University, the Cedarville Encourager, also, in addition to putting this out, organized a separate prayer time at 8 p.m. on that you know, February on February 13th, to kind of pray about the situation, to pray that the Cedarville University student body would have wisdom when handling Title IX cases, as well as the whole stabbing incident, which is perfectly fine, and it seems like, you know, a very wholesome and good way to kind of you know, protest the situation respectfully. And that seemed like a good plan to me. It seemed nice from the outside looking in. Like, I could understand some people's hesitancy, because there was a lot of hesitancy going into the walkout. But with the prayer time, I was thinking, you know, this makes complete sense. This is, we're supposed to pray for the people who are kind of like in charge of us, and they do need prayer in handling Title IX cases. One could certainly say that improvement needs to be done, and what better way to call for that than through prayer. If the university is not paying attention, I'm pretty sure that God is paying attention. So prayer completely makes sense. However, on the day that the walkout was supposed to happen, as well as this dedicated prayer time for the Cedarville University to properly address Title IX issues and make improvements where improvements are necessary, this happened when Dr. White took the stage.
Hey, good morning. As you're making your way to your seats, I have an announcement or two that I need to make. I'm cutting this off on the syrup. Nice tan. Thank you. Yeah. My name is, in case you've forgotten, Thomas White.
Very cool. People were excited to see Dr. White back at Cedarville University. He's a popular dude on campus. He seems to have an affable personality. I find him personally to be somewhat likable.
I have been gone longer than I've ever been gone in the middle of any semester, and so my wife and I were in Fiji with some dear friends of the university, and it was a good time. It was good, but it's good to be back here with you. I have an announcement I want to make to you all. The past 2 months have been really difficult.
This whole year's been weird. I'm just gonna put that out there. This whole year's been like kind of crazy, especially like people like following the news. We got all sorts of things going on. We got UFOs being shot down in the United States. We just got like all kinds of stories happening. We're gonna cover another one of those crazy stories as that also pertains to us to Ohio. But it's 100% accurate. It has been a crazy past couple of months. I'm pretty sure for everyone.
For a lot of people, it's been difficult for me. My wife's mom, who has Alzheimer's, passed away. I don't know how to handle that. She's got one mom. You only lose a mother-in-law once. There's no playbook. There's no way to understand how to handle this stuff. I have dear friends who also lost relatives. I had a dear friend who was in a head-on collision. Come on, stuff like this just doesn't happen. Another friend whose wife had surgery. The past 2 months have been hard. And they've been hard on all of us. We've been dealing with, out of the clear blue, demands for stuff. Like, where in the world does this come from? And
now, I don't know what those demands are. I don't know if this is in reference to some stuff that's going on behind the scenes, or if this is referencing the demands for change of the Title IX program. That wasn't quite clear in this here.
And then we deal with a student discipline issue, and then we deal with last week. It's hard.
And that's in reference to the stabbing, the last week incident.
And I get it to some degree. As I've caught up on email, been checking everything out, looking at everything, we like to fill in gaps with rumors.
And this, I was very, as soon as he said this, I was very excited because he's 100% spot on here. There have been, admittedly, a lot of rumors going around regarding the whole stabbing incident, especially when it was said, when people were describing the individual who got stabbed as someone with Title IX complaints against him, many names began popping up, and so multiple people started spreading and sharing different names, being like, "Oh, this is the guy who got stabbed. No, I thought you were talking about this dude who also has Title IX complaints against him." So names just started swirling around on campus before the individual who got stabbed made himself known. And so, yes, there were certainly rumors going around, in an attempt to fill in gaps of knowledge that, honestly, the student body has really been yearning for, but they just had not been given up until that point. Dr. White continues here.
When we have gaps in information, we issue guesses.
Another good thing, here I'm like, okay, this is very exciting. So maybe he's going to give us some more information, or at least, say that the university is like looking into the situation, because a lot of the unease comes from people just assuming that the university isn't taking, things like Title IX complaints, or even like the entire stabbing incident seriously, none of which I believe are true, by the way, from all of my sources and what I can gather. Neither of that's true. Cedarville University is taking Title IX complaints seriously, and they are taking the stabbing incident seriously. It's important to remember that the way the United States justice system works, you're innocent until proven guilty, so that's one thing to keep in mind. All of the investigations are open, as far as I understand. But, people don't 100% know that, because up until this point, the Cedarville University hasn't really said, hey, we are, we're cooperating with police. The investigation is ongoing in both the Title IX incidents as well as the the stabbing incident. Be patient with us because we're investigating. That sort of language hasn't seemed to have been put out at this point, and so that's kind of also where a lot of the agitation comes from.
I do it too. I'm not fussing at anybody. I look online and I see that somebody died. I immediately want to know how and why and what the details were. It's none of my business. I still want to know. And so it's just
it's interesting if he's saying here that like it's none of our business. I would say that if the Title IX complaints are true, I would understand why many people on campus would feel unsafe. But again, those incidents haven't come to a conclusion yet.
Human nature that we all try to fill that in because we want to know everything, even when we can't. So I want to address a couple of rumors that I have heard just head on.
And here I got excited. I tell you, I was sitting in my cubicle at work. I was like, yo, let's go. Dr. White's going to come in from his, multi-week vacation from Fiji and kind of, address the rumors, be like, hey, this is the individual, like we have, we've identified the individual, Title IX, everything is like ongoing. Please be patient. We're taking everything seriously. We're looking at all the evidence that we possibly can. You just know that like we're here for you. This is not an issue that we take lightly. It's not something that we want to ignore. And then keep it pushing, right? Because that kind of hits on pretty much all of the allegations that have been alleged against Cedarville University across, this past week or so, and also addresses a lot of people's, fears, whether driven by hysteria or otherwise, just regarding, everything that's been going on. So I was hoping he would say something like that, and I'm like, okay, yes, he's going to address the rumors head on, and shed some light where light can be given. But instead, here's what happened.
Hopefully in the right way. Listen, I'm not perfect. I know that. I have a wife who shoots straight with me, and she knows that. I know this institution's not perfect. There's nobody who pretends to be. In fact, when all of you came in as freshmen, I told you all, you're not perfect. Neither are we. Let's lock arms and walk together, hand in hand, shoulder in shoulder, seeking after Christ. That's what we have to do. Our typical sinful inclination is to assume the worst. Here's what I want to assure you of. 2.5 years ago, we started a Title IX office on this campus.
Now, that, by the way, does coincide with, I think there was a situation with Anthony Moore, and I'm not gonna use this stream, and I'm not gonna use this video to just read a whole Cedarville University drama. If you want to know more about the situation, you can go look it up on your own time. But just this is contextual. This did occur within the time period where there was a scandal, regarding another incident. And I don't really need to go into it much further than that.
We spent money. We increased budgets. We went out to find somebody that cared well for victims. It's what the expertise and professionalism was. This office was created to care well for victims. For 2.5 years, it's been operating. And it does that. They handle the matters. They are professionals with extensive training. They know far more about this than I do, or that many others do.
Now, here I was getting a bit confused because, here he's addressing things that nobody's ever really like said. Like nobody said that the individuals at the Title IX office are not professional. I think that a lot of the accusations alleged against Cedarville University are, kind of, assuming nefarious intent, intentional neglect. So it's not saying that they're not professionals. That's not what the rumors were 100% saying. So I was a little bit confused. I was like, well, there have been a lot of rumors that have been swirling around, and you say that you're going to address them head on, but first you talk about how the people with Title IX are professionals, which I think we all assumed is true. But I'm like, okay, I'll listen. I'll hear this out.
They understand and know what's going on in these situations, and they care well for victims. They have policies and procedures that they follow, and just in case you're wondering, the President's office is not involved in those policies and procedures.
Now, I thought this was an interesting point, and this was actually good to know, because I think a lot of people have been upset with Dr. White, but if the Title IX process is not something that Dr. White can interfere with, that's an important point. So we can't really place, anyone upset about the Title IX process and how that's all handled at Cedarville University, if it is indeed true that Dr. White has no hand in how that's all handled. There's no room really to be upset with Dr. White at how it's all handled, because he doesn't really have a role in it. So that, I thought, was a piece of new information that I thought was pretty interesting, and I didn't really see a lot of people talking about that.
There's nobody squashing anything. There's nobody trying to sweep anything.
Okay, this was good. Here he said that we don't ignore cases.
And the rug, they are told by our operating principles, this is what we do. This is what I tell all of our administrators: do what's right, let God sort it out. That's what the Title IX office does.
Now this was vague. I was like, wait, so are these incidents that have been it's been said that this individual has, are they still being looked into? I know that they are, but the public doesn't 100% know everything that's going on behind the scenes. And I was like, what? I'm so confused.
So when they make a decision, there's good logic and fact behind it, and when they don't make a decision or don't take action, there's good logic and fact behind it.
It is 100% true. It's 100% true. They as far as I know, this is what they have to do. If they don't have the facts to back up the complaints, they can't really move forward with saying that the incidents occurred. So
here's what burdens my heart. They have policies and procedures. They follow those. They're experts. They're trained. They follow the rules from the federal government. The federal government complicates everything in life, but the federal government gives rules. Those rules make things take longer. Things are often more complicated than what they may initially seem to all of us.
And this is 100% true. I think it's unfortunate that there's a lot of external rhetoric. When it's these things in general take longer, their policies and procedures the government has in place. When it would be nice to have a bit more of a first person thing, or it's us, Cedarville University, we are investigating these cases still. That would have been very comforting for that people have called them the vocal minority. That would have been very comfortable, that would have been very comforting for them to hear, because that certainly would have calmed them down, because they do feel ignored. And if Dr. White had directly said we're not being ignored in as many words, that would have been a little bit helpful. But still, to be fair to Dr. White, this rhetoric was not nearly as bad as some folks from that community have kind of made it out to be. There is some good that's being said here. It is, it's great that he said that the university does not sweep anything under the rug, and it's good that the university said that we don't make decisions until we have logic and facts behind them. Very good, very good. And I think it's unfortunate that that part of his message kind of got ignored here.
But when people make the claim that our people on this campus who serve in this area don't care for victims, let me just call a timeout. Think about the logic of that.
Now, here we sort of have, unfortunately, I hate to bring out the logic book, with the anthropomorphic dog and the green, in the green trench coat. But here, we kind of have a couple issues along the lines of logic here. Firstly, we kind of from what Dr. White is saying here, it seems like there's a little bit of like a red herring, because a little bit of like a red herring fallacy, because it's not like, it at large, a lot of the individuals. Now, maybe there's some people out here who are saying that, people at the Title IX office don't care about the university at all. People at the Title IX office don't care about the students at all. I mean, but I haven't seen that much rhetoric along those lines. A lot of times people will just say, oh, this needs to be handled better. And they don't always ascribe like a motive to why it is. So, they don't care isn't really said that often. Now, it has been said that people are like, I feel like I don't care, they don't care, or I feel like I'm not being heard. But that's a bit different than saying that they actually don't care or they're actually not being heard. Two kind of different things. So he kind of turns the rhetoric that's complaining about the whole Title IX situation kind of into an ad hominem attack, because it is an ad hominem attack if you're going to be like, oh, they're bad people, and that's why the situation is all messed up. So
somebody who gives their vocational career to listen to victims and to respond seeking justice and fairness, to be accused of not caring for victims, that logic doesn't hold.
And this also, I think this, in my opinion, was like the worst part of his addressing of the situation, because, just because you're in like a field doesn't mean that you necessarily care about the work or you care about the people. Some people might be in a position because they care about the money. Some people might be in a position just because it was the job that they could get at the time. Now, I will say that, if someone's in a Title IX office, I wouldn't assume that they don't care about victims. I just think that it doesn't make sense to assume that they wouldn't. But that doesn't mean that it's impossible for them to not care about victims. So it did, what he said here kind of did feel a little bit like absolute. And I know on Monday night or Tuesday night, I guess, quarterbacking on this. But these are just like some interesting things from Dr. White's statements.
That's like me saying to you who are in social work, you don't care about people. And
there are probably people in social work who don't care about people. Not most of them, probably not. I don't think so. But they certainly probably exist.
all of you would go, no, time out. I'm doing this. I'm giving my life because I care about people. I want to make a difference in the world. And our team does. I know them. I know them personally. I know that they care. I know that they're professionals. I know that they have training. I know that they take every report seriously.
Also good, and I think that's unfortunate that he said, we take every report seriously in the midst of this like kind of like strange messaging here, because we take every report seriously is something that a lot of that vocal section of the Cedarville University student body certainly needed to hear.
And they can't tell you or others all about every detail because confidentiality is important.
This is true, and people aren't necessarily upset about keeping about the confidentiality. I mean, there are some people who were, but when it comes to the investigation, people didn't necessarily want to know every single individual thing that happened with the investigation. They just want to know who was the person who got stabbed. Is it true that he had complaints against him, and were they true? Those are like the big things a lot of people wanted to know. And some of it I completely understand because not saying because the investigations aren't complete. So, but I mean, saying that would have been a fun thing. Oh, hey, yo, the chat is popping. What's up, y'all? And Lennoxo, thank you for celebrating me, a single man, a happy Valentine's Day. I appreciate it. Very thoughtful. All right, y'all. I do want to keep going on this coverage though, so let's keep it pushing.
I want you to know they care. I want you to know we care. I want you to know it's complex. I want you to know that it's difficult. And I want you to know that they're told, just like everybody else, to do what's right and let God sort it out. And I want to remind you what I remind myself frequently and what I remind my wife. I say this to my wife all the time. We don't know what we don't know. There's always something going on where we just don't know what we don't know. So I also heard last.
So here, and that's like the end of what he said. And he didn't, there were certainly a lot of things that he addressed. But I wish, yo, chat, what are you doing? You guys are distracting me so much. I'm trying to do the coverage on this very serious issue. But now you guys are distracting me with this talk about Valentine's Day. Let it so. Don't feel bad. You're completely fine. ISM says, I don't need a romantic relationship because the only relationship that matters is my relationship with Christ. That's fair. And I think if you like need a relationship, that's dangerous territory, my guy. But to want a relationship, that ain't bad. Either that or I'm bad. Which means I personally don't care about having a romantic relationship. I don't know. That's me. That's fine. The Apostle Paul would have no qualms with your position at all. He would not mind. But all right. I do want to keep moving. I'll read more chats later on after I cover the next story following this, because I will be talking about I'll be playing Car 3 SMP and no one else will be on, so I'll just probably be reading chats with the TTS on. But yeah, I thought that hold on, let's see here. So that kind of like wraps up what Dr. White said specifically about the incident that happened at Cedarville University, which, you know, some people were just like, I don't know how I feel about that, because he said no word about whether or not stuff was still being looked into in regards to the individual who got stabbed specifically. You know, because a lot of people are like, oh, we know for sure he did this. We know for sure he did that. When investigations are still like ongoing. And the process just needs to be followed, and more evidence needs to be taken and found. And, you know, that kind of rhetoric maybe would have calmed down a lot of the folks at Cedarville University, and actually, like, been a more adamant signal telling them, hey, you know, calm down. Wait until we get all the facts first before we make accusations and cast blame and whatnot. ISM said the stabbing. Yeah, there was a stabbing at my university. I have a couple videos about it on my Clips channel, talking about it, and I've been trying to do like some continuing coverage of it as is relevant. Now, here's the part where stuff kind of got people upset, and it really sparked some polarization among the student body. Let's play this, because I think there actually is an explanation for this on Dr. White's side that makes sense. But I completely understand the optics of why this looks bad too. And I still think timing could have been shifted to, you know, be a little bit more appropriate in reading the room. ISM said, wait, that was university. Yeah, Cedarville University. Like Car 3, the hall at Cedarville University is like where a lot of the folks come from who are on the Car 3 server. It was basically just like a hall server, and it's kind of just like grown to like a lot of alumni and stuff. So it's kind of neat. But yeah, my university.
This week, that revival broke out at Asbury University. So let me tell you what's happening there. There was a group of students on Wednesday. They had chapel, normal chapel. The person I talked to when I was down there yesterday said the message wasn't even that significant or special. Students just didn't want to leave. Students were at the altar. They were just crying out before God. They just continued to sing and play, and it was nothing structured. Like, I was down there yesterday for 4 hours, drove down after early service at church and spent 4 hours there, and drove back last night. And there's somebody on the piano and some people, they're just playing and singing. Like, they don't even know what song's next. There's no lyrics on the screen. There's none of that. They were just praying and seeking the Lord.
Now, you know, this is like a revival thing, and people were kind of cautious. You know, some people were like, oh, you know, it's a revival, it's crazy, it's a whole like hysterical event of people just, you know, acting out and mass hysteria thing. there's been no evidence to kind of like corroborate those claims. Now, there have been some word of faith and charismatic leaders who will be like, we're going down there. And a lot of people are groaning because they bring a lot of bad theology with them, but as far as we know, the Asbury revival is going well. It's wholesome. It's actually biblical, and it doesn't seem to be any issue going on with Asbury.
So I have a confession to make to you. I'm a little jealous.
Okay, interesting. Let's see where this goes.
Because what it feels like for the past 2 months is that this has been hard and there have been challenges. Gosh, y'all, we had to do student discipline on a dear friend. We had to do what was right, and it was hard. And then I had to call him on the phone and pray with him and cry with him. And God is gracious. And just because something happens doesn't mean you're done. Our God is a gracious God, and there's a great future for people who mess up, people who do things that are bad. But people, those things are hard.
It's not true.
I want to see revival on this campus.
Now, this is where people got riled up, and to be fair to Dr. White, he's been praying for revival every semester that I've been there. 4 years. He's been wanting revival every single year. Nothing wrong with wanting revival, and Dr. White wanting revival at Cedarville University is absolutely nothing new.
This is an aside issue. I went to the play Our Town. Can we give it up for the play people?
Play people are fine. Pretty talented.
So we got in at 2 a.m. Saturday morning. We were at the play at 8 p.m. It was riveting. They did a great job with everything, and if you went to see it, you know that. And at the end of the play, they're asking the question about, do the live people not get it? And that's ringing in the back of my mind while I'm down at Asbury. And listen, I'm not here to offer you any personal opinions. I don't know what I don't know. It doesn't really matter what I think about anything that's going on in life. But here's what I was thinking. Too often we get caught up in so many other things, just like the play said. These don't understand, do you? That one day we're going to stand before the Lord. We're going to give an account for all these things. We have a limited amount of time. And next Monday, we'll actually be talking about the verse, teach us to count our days. We're not doing that this Monday. We're on this. And so I've had to confess before the Lord, I've had a little pity party here. I want revival on our campus. I want that to happen here. I want an out.
Now, this part here had a lot of people up in arms because they were like, that doesn't really... Anyways.
Outpouring. I want to feel the presence of the Lord. Now, theologically, I understand God is omnipresent. He is everywhere. He's already here. He's omnipotent. He can do anything he wants to. I want to sense an outpouring of the Lord like never before. I want my life to be radically changed. I want your lives to be radically changed. I want to see a campus that's on fire for Jesus, that goes out in every single vocation and changes the world for Jesus Christ. That's what I want to see happening. And
again, nothing particularly new. He's wanted this for a while.
So the Lord, last summer, I lay out all the sermons for the year in the summer ahead of time. Psalm 86 is our sermon for today. We're going to sing. I'm going to pray first. We're going to do it differently. Because Psalm 86, as we read the text here in a bit, you're going to catch that it's cry out to the Lord. David cries out in prayer to the Lord. David humbles himself before the Lord. And I think this psalm is what we need. I think the Lord knew back in the summer when I randomly picked Psalm 86 for this particular Monday, that this Monday, this is what we needed. So we're going to do it differently. We're going to start off with prayer. We're going to ask the Lord to show up. I know he's here. We're going to ask him to show up in a unique way. They're going to come out. We're going to sing. And then I'm going to walk through part of the text, and then we're going to pray some more, and then we're going to sing some more. And you know what else we're going to do? I'm going to invite all of you at 8 o'clock tonight to come join me for a time of prayer, just for healing, unity, our country, our nation, our campus, for revival, for God just to pour out on us. And so I've got the recital hall reserved in case it's me and 3 other people, and that's fine.
And now, okay, and now here is where, some people kind of started getting upset because this time that he had reserved, for for this prayer, which was like a more generalistic type event rather than praying specifically for the Title IX situation and the handling of the stabbing incident, was kind of just focused on like prayer in general, for a lot of other things, and many saw it as a way for Cedarville University to divert attention away from the issue at hand, and also keep people from getting together to pray and talk about the Title IX incident specifically, because Cedarville University, the way that a lot of people view it, doesn't really want a whole lot of people running around talking about Title IX situation and disparaging the university publicly on campus. Now, is it true? Is it true that Dr. White was intentionally doing some sort of misdirection thing to prevent people from talking about it? Was he doing this timing suspiciously in a way that would prevent people from talking about the situation? Now that I think about it a little bit more, I don't think that was the case, but I completely understand why it looks like that. Here's the main reason why I don't think that this was orchestrated in a way to distract people from talking about the Title IX situation specifically. It is this right here. Dr. White, the day before, was at Asbury University at the revival, and he's like, wow, this is great. Pray for God to revive our nation and start. He even says to start a revival on the campus of Cedarville. So I think that what Dr. White was hoping to do was that God would use the Asbury revival to spark revivals in other parts of the country, Cedarville University being one of them. And it would make sense that it would happen at around the same time. If this revival is going to be sparked, I'm guessing that he was hoping to just resume what was happening at Asbury over at Cedarville University. But unfortunately, first of all, that like completely disrupted the plans of some of the individuals who were gathering to pray, because that time was the exact same time people were going to pray for the whole Title IX situation. And some of the people who organized the meeting, organized the prayer night, including the Cedarville Encourager, who chiefly organized this. They ended up canceling their event and saying, we're going to join Dr. White, encourage you to do the same. And people started posting that the worship service was going well. Now, many people on campus were very, very, very excited about this. They were like, revival is here. We've been wanting revival. Dr. White's been praying for revival for a while. We've got it here. This is kind of like this is like a resuming of the Asbury revival experience here on campus. This worship, thing, from what I heard, ended up going for at least like 2 hours. But we were just very like excited and encouraged about that fact. But people were still, pretty upset that now there was no one gathering to pray about the Title IX, situation specifically. There was no one, meeting up to, pray that Cedarville University would navigate the situation regarding the stabbing well. And I completely understand those those points. I think it would have been nice to have two different prayer times or meeting times or something, like a thing at 8, that Cedarville University would navigate all these situations well, and then something at 9 where it's like, now we move forward to praise and unity, no matter whether or not we agree on the situation or disagree with the situation. We just come together, praise God, and just get excited about what he's doing in our lives. I thought that would have been nice. That would have been cool. And I know that the story is very complicated. There's so much that's happening here because it's just ballooned into a lot. But now there's just a lot of tension. It even got to the point where right after Dr. White gave his message, the Cedarville Interpreter specifically was bombarded with a lot of hateful messages and rhetoric his way, accusing him of all sorts of different things, such as only wanting to spark division at Cedarville University, which is a message that unfortunately at least one of the meme pages at Cedarville University hopped onto as well, and just like accusing him of all these different types of things, accusing him of all this malicious intent, incidentally kind of going against what the Cedarville Encourager was talking about when it came to, speaking out rumors, and just like having speech that's unwise and not good. Not that the Interpreter has been perfect in their speech. I think there have been some times where one could certainly have said that they've been loose-lipped in regards to the whole situation, and sharing things that just weren't 100% true, but it doesn't really give one a license to do the same thing back to the individual, and in a far more hateful way, might I add. So things are just very, very conflicted. But I think what a lot of people kind of want to know at this point is, with Dr. White's response, was he specifically trying to distract people from the issue? Was he trying to keep people from talking about like Title IX because it makes the Cedarville University look bad? I'm gonna have to come out and say it. Unfortunately, look, God is the one who sees our hearts, right? I can't look and be like, oh, he came into this with malice, because I just don't know, and I don't have telekinesis. Is that what it is? Telekinesis? I can't remember. Anyways, but what I do know is it just seems like the timing was just not great. And the university could have addressed the situation a little bit more head on, but there were some really good things about what Dr. White said, in response, but just got lost, in the sauce of a lot of, strange and general and sometimes just completely irrelevant messaging. Like, some of the great takeaways is, he said from the stage that Cedarville University does not sweep things under the rug. That is good to know. He also said that they do the whole due process steps completely. They don't make a judgment without evidence. That also was good to know. So, it's not all bad, but, unfortunately, it just didn't have the clarity that a lot of people want. And I think there are people who want to know just everything. And university can't share everything. But it would be nice if Cedarville University gave progress updates and said, hey, we're looking into all the Title IX incidents. They haven't been cleared yet. We're still looking for we're still looking for the evidence to make a decision or not. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts. I think a lot of people who are hating on Dr. White for this situation, I think this is more than anything bad messaging and bad communication, not anything malicious. From what I know, what I've heard of what's going on behind the scenes, things are going things are being taken very, very seriously. Stuff still being investigated, but they just haven't said that publicly. It would have been nice for that to be said publicly, but it is what it is. We can't expect perfection from Cedarville University, so we do have to give them some grace. I think that's only fair. So yeah, I think we should continue praying for Cedarville University that they would handle the situation well, and that God would give the people who are upset at Cedarville University peace that the situations will be handled perfectly. Or not perfectly, but they'll be handled correctly and justice will be served. Braylon said, swag like Ohio, down in Ohio. I heard that song and I thought it was a joke. I heard it in a meme. I was like, what? Ohio is not swag. I don't understand what mentality you have to be in to believe that, anything about Ohio resembles swag. But also, like, I know that that's 100% just me. I just personally don't see anything swag about Ohio at all. So I did find that confusing, yes. I do want to read some of these chats because some of these chats do seem to be relevant to the whole Cedarville University situation. Said I agree it's not being addressed directly enough. Yeah. I mean, it kind of sucks because, like, Cedarville University is actually doing what everyone wants them to do, more or less. It's just that, from what I've heard, the people who are who are like issuing the complaints aren't given updates. And so I think they need to be like updated on at least like the progress and status and be like, oh yeah, we're still looking into this. I understand confidentiality for going further than that, but I think that is unfortunate because it makes people like feel ignored when they're not being ignored. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I think this is like almost 100% a like communications thing. But I don't see it as a distraction either. But there's nothing wrong with being direct in your prayer. 100%. I just think that the general tenor of the event most likely wouldn't have lent itself to people being like, okay, yeah, let's pray for the timeline situation. Let's pray that Cedarville University handles the stabbing well. I could be wrong. I wasn't there. I don't attend Cedarville University in person anymore. But, I have trouble believing that a whole bunch of people went to a Cedarville University sanctioned event and were like, oh yeah, let's all pray publicly for, this incident that we think Cedarville University is, not handling them in the best way. And I think a lot of people just felt like intimidated because they were like, oh, the Cedarville University doesn't want us to talk about this then because they want us to have like this separate event that's about like something completely different. Even if it's not true that they were trying to distract people, that's just how it looked. And that's not great. But again, look, if it's not their intent, it's not 100% their fault that it just came out wrong. And as I said, back to the earlier conversation, trying to date and some that would be, hold on, I think I'll actually address that while I play Minecraft, because I think that'd be better for Minecraft, because there is one more story I want to get to before I hop into Minecraft. Let's see here. So if you guys have been following the news, there's been one kind of strange and odd story that's been occurring. It was kind of started spreading across the country, but it kind of, this kind of was like the genesis of it. Now, in the state of Ohio, there was a train crash where these trains derailed, and they were carrying these very hazardous and toxic materials. And it caused, let's see here. Ohio officials announced they would perform a controlled release of 5 derailed train cars holding vinyl chloride on Monday as they pose a threat of a catastrophic explosion that would send shrapnel as far as a mile. Let's see here. Residents within several miles of the derailment site in both Ohio and Pennsylvania have been ordered to evacuate their homes because, this is like some seriously toxic stuff. After this, there's been discussion that, there could be pockets of, increased cases of cancer of folks who live in this area. There could be contaminated water and well water sources. This is it's just not a great situation. Here's like the fire smoldering. And the fires were going on for quite a while. So let's see here. The Citizen Free Press says train derailment has caused a massive fire and explosion in East Palestine, Ohio, which is northwest of Pittsburgh. The train was carrying more than 100 oil tanker cars when it derailed. It caused it crashed into a gas station. Nearby neighborhoods are under mandatory evacuation. And there you can just see that just looks like something out of an action or like horror movie. That looks awful. Now, Dr. DeWine addressed the situation. Let's see here. So they actually put out a map, which is very like helpful, kind of like showing where like the folks who are at risk are. And thankfully, it's limited to a mile. It's unfortunate that, it covers that much area, but it's great that it doesn't cover a greater proportion of the state. Because I was concerned, like, is this affecting folks at Cedarville? Like, folks that I know who still go to Cedarville University, like, is this affecting them? Turns out not really. It's like 250 miles away, so it doesn't really affect them as much. That's also good news to hear. Now, people have been out saying, like, officials have been saying the air is safe now. But people are kind of confused as like regarding the rhetoric. Like, one hazardous materials expert said, quote, "We basically nuked a town with chemicals," end quote. And yeah, it's just a tough situation. There's still a lot we don't know though about the level of safety in that area. So I think prayers for these folks are certainly warranted. Hopefully if the area where they're at is unsafe, that would be made known. And yeah, I think that at this point there isn't too much that can be done, because they already released all of the gas that I know of. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. And there have been other train derailments, and we don't know what's exactly behind all of those. Some people think it's like sabotage or terrorism, but no one really knows the whole story. But it makes sense to stand by, wait to hear more. But all right, here, let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the TTS back on for a second. And oh, hold on, wait, are people on the server? Wait a second, what? Wait a minute.
Wait, who is that?
Doobie.
Hello.
Hey,
What's
we're playing Mario Kart at the moment.
Oh, I wasn't sure what was happening. I was like, what? Because I was like in the middle of like a stream, and my initial plan was to like just play some Minecraft on the Car3 server, but I wanted to kind of talk about what was happening at like Cedarville University with like the stabbing and everything a little bit more. So not necessarily just like the stabbing itself, because there's no new information about that like made known to the public that I'm going to discuss on stream. But because people were upset about what Dr. White said in response, so I kind of wanted to address that and kind of be like, oh, like, was his response as bad as people were saying? Wait, what'd you say?
I didn't know he said anything in response yet.
He didn't really address things directly. He just said that, we follow certain policies and procedures when it comes to investigating like Title IX cases, and there are things that we can't say because of like confidentiality, which are all like true, but it's not what people wanted to hear, because they wanted to hear, whether or not, because the guy who got stabbed had Title IX accusations against him, and people wanted to know like if they were true, if those reports were being ignored, because none of the people who reported him got updates as far as like we know. But I'm pretty sure like university is still looking into them from what I've heard, so it's not like they're being ignored.
It's been very interesting. So a much more positive development happened yesterday that in terms of so Dr. White last week actually was in Fiji. During this, he came back, and what started as like a Dr. White chapel service ended up being almost turned into an almost 5-hour worship and prayer time.
Was that 5 hours? Because I actually covered that also, because like one thing people were upset about too is they were like, well, Dr. White's trying to do like a revival thing like in Asbury to distract from like the Title IX thing, which I think at the end isn't 100% accurate. but I can see why with the timing. But I didn't know that it lasted like 5
Being
hours.
100% inaccurate, or
Oh no, what I'm saying is I don't know for sure that it was like used to like distract people from the Title IX situation.
I wouldn't think
But-
so.
Yeah, I mean, I could see how it came off that way, but I think the reason why I don't believe that is because, like, the day
Yeah,
before he was
was-
literally at Asbury, so it made sense that he was like, oh, like, you know, right afterwards, I want to do something similar at Cedarville University, and he's been wanting the revival at Cedarville University for a while. Like,
Oh, ooh, Nate, you had a rough race there.
I mean, it's not my best track, and I also have no idea what happened. But at some point, I was getting hit a lot, and I wasn't getting any items that didn't cause me to crash frequently. So,
I didn't
Let's
realize the race was over already because it went by so quick.
but anyways, I'm gonna hop off of the voice chat here.
okay.
Because I think I might join the Discord with some guys who are in my chat right now.
Like, your Discord?
Yeah, well, yeah, because I don't know. I feel like it'd be fun to just like be on stream and play Minecraft and let like folks like call in basically.
Okay.
So I think I might do that. But
You don't want to talk to us?
no, I
Like,
I do. Let's see here. But I also didn't want, the folks who are like watching the stream to feel like they were being like ignored too,
Neglected?
or also be
Yeah,
like confused with you guys talking about like Mario Kart races and be like, what?
why mirror mode? Why? Why?
Like that?
Wait, I'm really honestly hoping that everything regarding the Title IX situation gets cleared up. Well, not Title IX, but like the stabbing specifically gets cleared
Yeah.
up soon, because I mean the guy who got like stabbed because of like the rumors about his Title IX situations, I've heard that like it's been pretty rough and there have been like threats of violence and things, so it's just not a great situation for him and in his safety.
Yeah.
And I'm like a big fan of like doing like due process and everything. Like I like America and I like our justice system. And I know you can't rush things, but it would be a lot better just to have gone through that process rather than just waiting indefinitely. Because we don't know when the next legal proceeding of that's going to happen still. But I mean, I'm confident that in the end, oh hey, Mr. Pizza. I'm confident that like in the end, like if there was any wrongdoing done, that'll be found out, and if not, you know, everyone who needs to be exonerated will be exonerated. Like, so I don't have any like fears that like someone's like gonna get away from it or get away with it. You know what I mean?
Wait, Umar, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Have they actually released who the victim was?
I mean, that hasn't been official, but the individual who, it hasn't been officially announced, but the person who got stabbed said he got stabbed publicly, and I've spoken to people who corroborated that.
Yeah. I was hearing from a Jacob Richter about who it probably was and all
Yeah.
that.
And it's all very, I mean, the thing I hate most about the whole situation is, as far as we know, I'm trying to think of what I can say on stream, what I can't say.
Yeah, be careful with your words.
Yeah, it's like as far as I know, it is largely. She said situation, but there is the whole case with the. No, never mind. I can't say that. But
Sure.
There's like potential for more evidence to come out. I'm just not 100% sure if it will come out, because it is, I believe it's most likely related to the tampering with evidence charge. So we'll see how that all checks out. But it's going to be tough because, as far as I know, there weren't any witnesses, so it's going to be like a hard case. But I feel like the person who got stabbed, the person who attacked him, is gonna. I would be shocked if she was found guilty, because like there's evidence that she stabbed him, and I don't know how much corroborating evidence there is of her claim that.
Wait, you'd be surprised if she was or wasn't?
I wouldn't be surprised if she was like found guilty, just because there's evidence that she stabbed him, but there's not evidence that I know of that he actually like went and like choked her and did all the stuff that she said. So.
Oh, so what you're saying is it's a strong. You wouldn't be surprised if she's declared guilty, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, but I would understand going either way, just because.
Confusing there for a second.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, and it just. And also another thing too is, and I talked about this in my Rick and Morty Justin Roiland thing, which is like, you know, if like law enforcement issues a probable cause affidavit and someone gets charged, I am pretty confident that they're doing it because they have reason to do so. Something about the situation, maybe the way people were acting or evidence that was on the scene, just led the officer to think, you know, there might be something to this, because you can't just throw around a random accusation and have like the government pick it up and have the person charged. Like there has to be like reason. Yeah, there has to be like reason to believe that like they actually committed the crime. Like there are a lot of cases where like there is reason to believe and they still don't.
Like, it's possible, but it's not supposed to.
Yeah, I know it doesn't work 100%, but that is how it's supposed to work, and like legally,
Yeah.
that's generally how it goes.
Hello, Forbin. I can see you.
Yeah. I took a giant shortcut and I didn't gain a single position.
Did you go through the donut?
Yeah.
To move on to lighter news, how has the revival been?
Yeah. What's that even been about?
I'm not gonna call it a revival yet, just because it's way too early
To call it one.
to call it one.
That's fair.
Oh come on! Oh no!
You gotta be kidding me.
I got last again. Let's go. I'm losing all my.
Freak
I'm losing
nature.
all my elo.
What's Elo?
It's ranking points for online.
But anyway, with the worship thing, was it just like Dr. White was going to speak, and then they're like, "Hey, this thing happened on campus," and then everyone kind of hung around for half the day?
So.
No.
Oh, sorry. No, go ahead. I mean, you're the one who's there. So.
Dr. White. So the whole stabbings. Actually, there's more than just the stabbing that's happened the past few weeks. Our SGA chaplain got kicked out as well
Oh.
for entirely different reasons. So SGA is now doing like polls, worship, chapels, etc. But that plus the whatever stabbing event that happened has created a lot of division and conflict within the community. And then Dr. White was in Fiji like last week, and yesterday was his first chapel since being back. And he was genuinely talking about like seeing revival stuff and whatnot. He did a little bit of Psalm 86 preaching, but most of it was like worship, singing response, prayer response. But after like the chapel ended. The chapel schedule went past schedule, but Dr. White literally said, "I don't know what's happening next." Like he felt in that moment that the Holy Spirit was moving and that he didn't know what to do. So literally he told people that if they could leave to like go to class and stuff. But there were people, but if people wanted to stay, they stayed. So some people left. Like I left after a little while because I had a class. But there were people still there for like the praise team was still there singing and whatnot.
Now people weren't penalized for staying, right? Like it wasn't a thing of like they got like absentees or.
I don't know how the professors felt. Like Dr. White said, the faculty will understand.
Yeah. At most, they might have to make up a class or something.
Yeah.
I would assume.
Yeah, it is just one day. Okay, I mean that's cool because like, I'm out on campus and a lot of the rhetoric that I've seen about the situation, unfortunately, a lot of it has come from like more like the interpreter's side than like the pro Cedarville side. Even though I feel like, you know, the Cedar stands are just as unhealthy as like the Cedar villains. But have I told you about like my grouping of like how students perceive Cedarville University? Like,
no, I don't think you have.
It's like so.
Amar, can I finish my little?
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Explanation real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of went quiet for a second because I was trying to finish the race. I ended up in 10th.
Oh no.
Because
that's not last, right?
On the last glider.
Well, that's not last place, right?
No. It's been bad racing, but anyway. So later that night, Dr. White was having a prayer session at 8 o'clock at night, and they had it. I think they had like a 3-hour prayer session last night, and then tonight they had another one after chapel. They had another one tonight at 8 too.
Maybe you're not or not supposed to answer something. But what happened with the SGA president?
They haven't. Cedarville being Cedarville hasn't formally announced what happened to him, but I got a pretty confirmed story from some classmates who know some of the people involved. So apparently, SGA Chaplin, his fiance, and another person, and a unit from Willits were having a bonfire party, and all of them ended up drinking. Which the only reason the university found out is one of the girls ended up having to go to the hospital for intoxication. And, whoa,
for real?
Yeah, and they found out that also the SGA Chaplin. Oh, that was nice. Okay, SGA Chaplin. The story I heard was he bought the drinks, and some of the girls were under 21.
Oh.
Which, if you know anything about drinking, that's illegal to buy underage alcohol.
Yeah. Wow.
So that's the story I think I've heard. Again, the university hasn't really like announced it formally.
Yeah.
Interesting. Some of those I have heard part of that, but some of that information was conveniently left out of the narrative that the interpreter said. So interesting.
Did the interpreter talk about the SG Chaplin leaving?
Yeah, they said it was literally just for him drinking, and that was it. That's like, now maybe he didn't have the full story. So, but
It's possible.
Somebody could be throwing shade.
Could be.
I mean, I can't 100% confirm that. I'm 90% sure that it's true because the guys who told me it actually know some of the people.
Yeah.
But
Plus, they drinking alone. It's in the covenant thing. Like you're not allowed to do it. Period.
Right.
oh, this is a great.
So as the SGA chaplain or president or whatever, yeah, that's a biggie.
Yeah, I mean, and I was like
It's a
messaging.
biggie. It's a big biggie.
Yeah, and
So
I was-
now SGA is kind of just doing worship chapels from time to time. Dr. Wood preached the first chapel after it happened. They'll be having guest preachers and stuff. So now, no more SGA chaplain and no more going through the Book of Mark, which was what we were doing when he was in the position. So,
Did you hear about like so what I've heard, and again, don't 100% quote me on this because it hasn't been confirmed yet, but oh, I didn't know that was on the way of being broken. Anyways, so he hasn't been like 100% kicked out, but he and everyone, or at least he and his like fiance have been like suspended and will be coming back next semester, or allowed to come back. It's not clear whether or not they will.
I haven't heard
But-
anything. Cedarville hasn't really mentioned the situation much at all because, well,
I mean, that was hinted at. I think when Dr. Whitehead said that, like, you know, they're like, you know, second chances for people who mess up or whatever, because he also had hinted at that whole
There
situation.
was also like an SGA president or higher up who between semesters left and they didn't even mention it anywhere. I think he left of his own volition, from what I understand. Like he just left Cedarville.
And then he came back.
No, he didn't
that's
come back.
possible.
Like,
Oh, I see.
I kind of know the guy. From what I heard, he was basically thinking, well, my degree isn't really helping me out, so I'm just going to leave and stop accumulating debt, kind of thing.
Yeah. I don't blame
yeah,
him for
yeah,
that.
if he just left because he doesn't want to accumulate more debt and whatnot, then that's not really a.
Like any scandal or anything, but it's
Yeah.
still like an SGA person who was elected who just kind of vanished.
Yeah, it's a little different, but yeah.
Yeah, it's very different. I would even say, but I
It's
would
fair.
say there is no precedent for them not mentioning anything.
Yeah. But how do you guys feel about how the university has like handled everything so far? Because opinions vary wildly from like the university was like perfect, they haven't done anything wrong, to like the university's horrible and they need to be burned with fire. Like,
I mean, I honestly don't keep track of anything that's happening at Cedarville. Everything I know comes from basically you, Jacob Richter, and I think that's it. So yeah, I generally think that Cedarville has its heart in the right place, but there has been I forget, like Dr. Green or something, like there
Dr.
has been,
Moore.
yeah, like bad situations or mishandled problems.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's far from perfect, but I do think it's in the right place. It still has good Christian values, or still teaches good values.
Yeah. I mean, I think that like all of the stuff with Title IX, if it's true, is a problem, but it's just none of it's been
Yeah.
like confirmed. So it's like they're saying these things which sound really bad, but I just don't know how true it is, you know?
Yeah. And I would find it even a little more ew, because they had all those Title IX posters absolutely all over the place for like the last 2 years.
Yeah.
They were
Oh,
obnoxious.
yeah, that would be very, very.
It's like, okay, you had all these things. If you were kind of then ignoring it, what the heck?
Yeah.
Well, I will say now, this is something that I will say. This is something I actually observed firsthand at outside the chapel. As I was leaving on Monday. Like, actually, I don't know if it was either yesterday or today's chapel. I was leaving, walking out, and I saw a few cardboard signs leaning against the wall that people had just left. They were basically protest signs saying something about the silenced or whatever.
Oh. Did it have to do with the walkout?
There was a walkout?
Yeah.
What walkout?
There was a walkout on campus. Not many people participated, but essentially it was to protest the university's handling of Title IX situations. And people were also encouraged to like wear teal. Not many people participated. But it was kind of like spearheaded by the Cedarville interpreter. And like in the aftermath of it, people started like accusing the interpreter of just trying to spark division and opposing revival. And so like all over like Yik Yak, like people were just like basically bullying him and being like he's a terrible evil person who like hates God and stuff. So it was like kind of like a lot.
Yik Yak is a very, very unreliable social media spot. Although I will say that Yik Yak did identify the stabber before the official release.
Yeah, my issue with the interpreter's credibility like seems to be I think that they assume things are true before there's been like enough like evidence of
You
it.
kind of assume everything against Cedarville by default.
Yeah, I'm actually curious as to. I know the Cedarville interpreter is anonymous, and for the reason that if he was known, and it turns out it was a student or something writing this anonymously, then they would have been kicked out.
Well, it turned out that he was he kind of like exposed who he was intentionally. He like revealed who he was once he graduated. But like now another person has joined who is a current student.
Yeah, they would probably need a current student to really get a lot of the news.
But it's weird because like he like based on what he said, he's actually gotten more like abuse and attacks from like did they change the sounds in Minecraft?
I don't know.
Huh, the sounds sound different.
I think they did make some sound adjustments to match Java Edition, but
Interesting. But he's actually been like attacked more by like the student body than like the university itself. Like he's on good terms with some faculty still.
there we go.
But yeah,
Finally got
I think one issue with the interpreter is like I get the impression that at least Jonathan, the guy who ran it before, is like very much a like hashtag believe all women person. And so if someone like comes up to him and is like, oh, someone so like did this to me, then he'll like kind of like add it like as a list of like things that have happened in Cedarville, even if the sourcing is like kind of thin. Now, I mean, I don't know that he takes that approach like 100%, but a lot of his fans do. So, like for example, like the like I was watching their live stream, the interpreter's live stream yesterday, and I was leaving in some comments, and unfortunately Jonathan didn't like address this. Maybe he'll address it in the future. But I was like, hey, as Christians, aren't we called to like wait for due like process to like finish before like casting judgments? And someone in the comments section was like, yo, like, he literally, like, in the affidavit, she said that, like, he was choking him, or that he was choking her, and I was like, well, the, like, investigation isn't over yet, and she was like, so? It was just, like, an absolute, like, facepalm moment, because we can't just assume that everyone's guilty just because something has been said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
And maybe
there's
that's not what the interpreter does, but at least, like,
our
the,
country used to. I mean, our country has the principle that you're innocent unless proven guilty, although that hasn't been. Although our modern media has made that principle, thrown that out to the garbage.
yeah.
In the court of public opinion nowadays, there's a lot less people who are
boys
interested in
and
the whole
I
process
Said in the chat.
and waiting to actually
10.
see what's
The
true or
boys
not.
and I
They're more interested in whatever
Said
the
in the
clickbait
chat.
narrative at the start is.
$10 asterisk.
Yeah, which is why it's been.
Who's the boys and I in chat? Hi, boys and I. You said $10 in the chat. I don't know why, but thanks.
Wait, someone's giving you money?
No, but someone said $10, and at least I don't think so. Hold on. Wait a second. No, yeah, no. It didn't give me money.
Unless you have something set up for it, then you're not getting money.
Yeah, no, I'm not set up for that. So it's like, but anyway, sorry, I
I
didn't
don't
mean
know
to
why
interrupt
you
you.
would. I don't know why you would be set up for.
Yeah,
that kind of
no, I'm
thing.
not nearly big enough to, get monetization or whatever. No, I think you were saying something. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Dang it.
I don't think so.
You weren't? I thought for sure you
I
were.
wasn't.
Oh yeah, Nate's in fourth.
What?
I'm in last.
I lost all
One in
my.
second. I sent a blue shell.
The boys and I
Hit somebody
said
with
in the
it.
chat.
And they were not
Set
in
it up
first.
and I will be back.
Yo, wait, the
It's
boys,
not-
the boys and I in the chat said, "Set it up and I will be back." Set up like the donation thing.
Nate Hamar, you have like how many subscribers?
I have like 99. Hey, I have 99 subscribers. Subscribe to me and I'll let you know.
Subscribe and get number 100. Woo!
Woo.
Then you can get monetized. That's how it works.
Yeah, I feel like maybe I should throw my PayPal out on something.
I don't know if I'd throw your PayPal up.
Oh yeah, fair.
No, there's a way you can. I think there's a way you can set it up without giving away your personal banking.
Well, your PayPal isn't your personal banking, but
Without giving away something
having
like
boys and
PayPal.
I
I don't know. I have
Said
always
in the
felt like it
chat.
could lead to someone
Done.
trying to access your banking.
That's true.
And I was in fourth. All these people are always
boys
close
and I
together, and then they just
I was at
Said in the
second at one
chat.
point, and then I got
I subbed.
ninth.
Hey, the boys and I, they subbed. Let's go. Let's
100?
go.
Let's go.
Let's go. I wasn't expecting that to work.
Amar, we were expecting, like 6 months ago, I expected you to hit that mark first. But then
Yeah.
Nate blew you, but then Forbin drew you out of the water.
Yeah, Thorpen's been fire right now on YouTube.
I mean, I've gotten to 430, which is great. However, the last couple videos are going absolutely nowhere.
Really?
The last two I've gotten 13 and 14 views.
Oh.
Yeah, compared to the couple 100 or almost 1,000 that they would normally get, and I can't for the life of me figure out what's happening.
Huh.
Part of it could be that just. Now, I obviously any advice I'm gonna give is gonna be
Yeah.
not the most informed because obviously I don't operate a YouTube channel
Right.
or anything like that, so I don't know the ins and outs, but I almost feel like that maybe you're publishing too much.
I don't think so. 'Cause
I mean,
usually if you're publishing a lot, YouTube isn't like, oh, whoa, hold up there. We're not going to show anyone your videos anymore. Because it's like, oh, you're publishing a lot? Cool. That's more content for us.
I do think that they do punish you for, I need to do an A/B test, but I'm pretty sure they do punish you if you, like, try to spam post, YouTube Shorts.
If you try to what?
If you try to, like, spam post, like, YouTube Shorts, like, post a lot of YouTube Shorts in succession, or, like, more than one within 24 hours. Because I'll post a YouTube Short, if I post a YouTube
The
Short by
boys
itself,
and I.
then I'll
Said
get,
in the
like,
chat.
1,000 views.
I'll be back.
But if I post, like, 2 in a row, like, one will get 1,000 views, or one will get, like, 15.
Yeah, I think if you do a bunch of them in quick succession, I feel like YouTube algorithm will only say you kind of get one video that's allowed to exist at a time on Shorts.
Yeah.
And though right now I have it basically set up where it's one short a day. But even then, the shorts are doing relatively well. I had one that is doing very poorly. But other than that, most of them are reaching about 1,000.
Yeah. It also
more.
really just could. It also really could just come down to viewer preference, like how popular the particular video is, or
I mean, maybe, but the videos that I'm putting out are basically the same or similar to what we've been doing.
Yeah.
I think that like the thumbnails, I've been kind of proud of some of them. I thought that they were good, but I don't know. Maybe there's some disconnect somewhere.
Have you asked the
it's
folks in your
entirely
Discord?
possible that your streaming run with Jake is not very popular with your viewers.
It's possible. Although one of the live streams that I had with him was my most popular live streams. One of them, at least. So I don't know if that has any correlation with it. I don't know if they just aren't interested in the full-length videos that I put out. Maybe it's because those ones can go up more frequently, that they're less interesting than like the noob series. And I'm not currently putting out any that are just non-playthrough random content kind of things.
I mean, how the
So I do want to put out one of those and see if it also flops hard, but because that would be a pretty big indicator. Right now the question is whether or not the videos with Jake on their special seed, whether those are just flopping because for whatever reason those ones in particular are not algorithm friendly. But the weirdest thing is that almost all my shorts come from those videos. If you were to put together a bunch of shorts, you'd create maybe half of the video oftentimes.
Oh, wow.
But the shorts do really, really, really well.
Well, that's because they're like 1 minute snippets that people can watch.
But it means that people are probably, like, engaging with it well, and maybe, like, rewatching them and stuff, right?
Nate, this lobby's getting a little more Luigi'd.
Very Waluigi. When you look in front of you and you see like 8 Waluigis, you know there's a problem.
What are the types of villagers who will buy sticks from you? I forget what they're called.
I don't know. Not a villager master.
I think it might be the Fletchers you're looking for, Amar.
Ah, the Fletchers. I gotta build one of those,
Herb Fletcher.
what are they called? Fletcher machines? Fletchings?
Also, this place is a link course, so I think I need to win by right. Also, I'm in 3rd. How's that happening?
Yo, chat, how do I make a Fletcher?
You need like an archery table or something, right?
The Fletcher's table, essentially. Ooh,
Ah,
that's a
Fletcher's table.
nice boo steal. I stole lightning with a boo. That's kind of crazy.
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
And then I got triple mushrooms in 12. Why am I in 12?
Why are you in 12th?
But at the same time, I'm terrible at it, so... Oh, this is nice. This
Oh, I
is
see.
one-
The fact that people aren't as good at, and I'm just not affected.
I need a
Are
cart.
they now all normies like me?
How are you guys playing? You guys playing online?
Yeah.
We are active online right now.
And we're playing with Kalan's difficulty, which is no life people, and I am not that. That's not a Mario Kart.
Oh, I see. You essentially have to be a tryhard to win.
Oh yeah, like I can be as tryhard as I want, and I can get last.
Oh my goodness, what?
Yeah, this lobby, first place already went through.
We're all a bunch of freaks.
And I'm gonna do really poor. Come on.
Come on, this is my track. I'm Link, and this is Link's course. And now I'm going to get what the frick? What the frick? I was like a third.
You got
And then
1 point.
everything.
Dude. You got 1 point.
I have the world tumbling down on my face.
You completely flopped and you
Your
gained
room,
up
man.
point.
Oh, I've got an idea of something new to do in the Card 3 server.
Oh.
Maybe you guys will not find it interesting. It's just a personal project. I don't know, it's something that you guys would be interested in doing yourselves. But I thought about, what if I used like urban planning concepts while building like a new like city/village on the Card 3 server, like in Minecraft. So
you're
basically,
making another villager.
yes, yes. Don't you know my agenda is to take over the world with villagers?
Mere population.
Yes.
So you just want to cover the entire land from your land to maybe my land with city?
Yes.
My
And
land.
yes, but not only
Land
that,
is
but also
my
all the other land.
Land is my land. This land is my land.
Of course on.
Like I want incredibly dense, like I want like incredibly huge population density, where just like there are villagers everywhere, and it's like a bustling world.
That could cause a huge lag spike, but okay. Also, you need like a bazillion farmers to grow the food to start.
Okay, but
True.
what is this urban planning thing that you're talking about for it?
Oh yeah, so what I want to do is I want to use principles from like urban planning and like city planning and stuff to like build a city that's not only like sustainable and impervious to things like zombies and things, but also it's like easier to traverse, it's harder to get lost in. Well, I'm just doing this mostly for me because I'm like directionally challenged.
Yes, very.
But just, I want to be incredibly conscientious of things that might occur, and also find ways to keep it thriving.
How big do you think this village is going to be?
Oh, we'll see. It could be huge, but I don't know. It just depends on how much time I have. So what I plan on doing is, I have a blank whiteboard. I plan on writing down like kind of like this, mapping out like the city plan on the whiteboard, and then trying to follow it in the game to like create like a city that has all the paths and things that I want. I'm gonna like, for example, I'm gonna have like a stable for horses for when people bring in their horses. But
As you should.
yeah, but inside the city, it's gonna be transportation will mostly be fueled by like those like iceways where you put down a boat. You can go to and fro
nice.
like really
Ice.
fast.
Oh, ice things?
Yeah.
Those are
Talk
so
with talk with Goodish.
Yeah, I should. Yeah, because I don't have any ice.
Yeah, you should end. If you're gonna do urban planning tomorrow, you should do a contract with him.
Yo, I could probably make money off of it actually.
Oh, come on, I'm gonna get 12.
I guess I can be
No,
happy with
11. I beat the toad! Ah, toad!
Hey, 1999, I got my birth year.
Fire.
Wait,
Let's
you were
go.
born in 1999?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
And I've aged myself.
You're slightly older than me, but slightly.
What?
But also, you just announced your birth year on the stream, so congratulations.
Oh no!
That's it. No, yeah, no big
Oh
deal.
no! Shalikum is new!
Great, now everyone's going to find me. Actually, while I was streaming today, one of the guys, he's kind of the creep in my channel. He's just like, if I appeared at your door, what would you do? And I said, if you appeared at my door, I would call the police. If any of you showed up at my door, I would call the police. You shouldn't be there.
I do not blame you.
Knock, knock.
The most elaborate knock-knock joke ever.
This course again? Hold on. We're back to this course again?
Yeah, right?
I know this is a popular course, but still. Oh, thank you, Toad. Jerk.
I swear these people have like hacked cars. Y'all see them fly to the far left of the screen and then zip on over to the exact opposite side without losing any momentum at all. Then I'll see them drive through the grass, like a massive pile of grass, without a boost, and they're not slowed down at all.
Are you alright? God bless you.
Yeah, Oh. Yeah, these lobbies can be very rough. Especially since online has lag.
I don't think it's rough as much as these people are just cheaters.
Either that or you need to spend a little bit more time trialing.
Well, no, that's not. I'm talking just the fact that they're driving through grass and they're not being slowed down at all, despite not having any form of boost or accelerant. And it's like, what the heck?
It is possible they could be cheating. I don't know how you cheat at Mario Kart.
Doubt they're cheating, but it's just like, uh-huh.
Oh my goodness, oh, that's a bad place.
Oh, that figures.
How did I get 8th still? I got wrecked at the end. Hey, you made it for 2000. Let's go.
I had boost up the wazoo and I still didn't get very far.
I know.
I really hate boost in this one. I feel like you're not doing anything. You're not going anywhere.
Wow,
Are you
I'm
sick?
I am the unpopular selection. Nobody likes Super Bowl
I've been
Subway.
coughing for well over a month.
Oh.
It all started because I was apparently allergic to medicine that I was prescribed. I didn't know I was allergic to it, so I just assumed I got the regular flu.
Isn't that just supposed to make you healthy?
Yeah, it is, isn't it? And then I discovered I was allergic because I was prescribed the same medicine again.
Wait, they prescribed the same medicine because you were allergic to it?
No. So I had an ingrown toenail. I had to get it operated on. So they chopped it and gave me this antibiotic. I took it, and I got like deathly sick. It was really bad.
Oh my
and
goodness.
I was like, oh, I guess this is the flu because it was very flu-like. And that's going around. So I figured, yeah, it's just the flu. And then the other side of my toe decided, hey, I want to get ingrown as well because I don't want to leave the other side with all the fun. So I had to get that one operated on. And then they gave me the same antibiotic, and I got the exact same symptoms. And it's like, oh, I've discovered my first medical allergy.
Wow.
Exciting. Yeah,
I had
and
no
that
idea
just
you were so
made
sick.
me very sick. Huh?
I had no idea you were so sick.
Yeah, it was like the very sick part of it was mostly just for a couple of days. And then after that, it was just kind of lingering symptoms. And then I was really sick for
Wait,
2-3 days.
I can't believe my track was selected again. This track is so unpopular.
So what you're saying is everybody in the lobby hates you now.
They probably do, because this, with all these trains running around, there's a reason. Also, it's mirror mode, which makes it worse.
I'm also in last place, and was in last place, and I didn't know why. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Jerks. These people are freaks of Mario Kart nature.
The
Why did I get a
Japanese.
triple boost in last
Oh
place?
no! No! I was doing. No! I was doing so good. I was gonna get top 5, and then I ended up getting hit a lot and got 10.
I got 11.
Look, it's 2006 now.
I don't even know why.
Why
I don't feel like I'm
2006?
doing that bad. All I see is Waluigi everywhere.
Who's Waluigi?
Everybody.
Oh.
Like a Waluigi and a Wiggler bike, and like everybody is doing it. And it's like, Nintendo, fix this, you freaks. So that
They
way,
actually did.
it's more even, and I'm not watching Waluigi everywhere. I want to play as I want, not what's good.
Nintendo already did like a little nerfing to it. It was minuscule, but it was a nerf.
Nerf it so hard that no one will ever use it again. I want to see it so nerfed that it's nerf or nothing. The Wiggler should be turned into a Nerf bullet.
I mean, if you use like a mini buggy, that's a good cart to use too.
Hey, my track.
Oh,
Why is my track 200cc? I'm the lowest ranked person here, but I get the highest CC when my track is chosen.
I don't know what that means. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what that
It means that I have like maybe a quarter of the points of the person with the second least points in this lobby, and it takes a long time to get points. And I have like 2,000. Second has like 8,000.
I have 9
For minor contact.
400.
And then CC just determines how fast the cars move.
I
So 50cc is a snail, and then 200 is Lightning McQueen.
So we'll scale from 50 to 200. It's an interesting scale.
Well, 50 to 100 to 150 to 200. Is Mirror more than 200? Or is there a
Mirror
mode?
is always 150,
Okay, so 200 is the max.
and thank goodness it is, because this is a nightmarish.
Guys, I chose this track. Let me win. I know you're from Japan and you probably don't understand what I'm saying.
Controller disconnecting. Come on, that's so bogus.
Oh, that's right. I guess
Somehow I'm
Nintendo is from Japan.
miraculously still only in 7th place.
How are you in 7th?
Are you saying that in like
I
a good
will
way or a
say
bad
the
way?
Baby build. Oh my goodness, I'm being.
Nothing is more frustrating than trying your hardest, but you are always in the back of the pack.
Which is why I don't really play Mario
Whoa!
Kart. Wait, do you know what I did get for my DS?
Do you have a DS?
Come on.
Yeah, wait. Yeah, I got a DS Lite like 2 years ago. Wait, didn't I tell you guys about that?
What did you get?
A DS Lite?
Was it DS Lite?
It's a version of the DS that can play Game Boy Advance games.
Oh, you got like a Nintendo DS?
Yeah. I don't play it very much.
Ooh. It has the Double Dash, Mario Kart Double Dash, does it not?
I haven't gotten that game yet, but I need to get one of the Mario games.
Why'd you get the
But-
DS?
Wait, what'd you say?
Sorry, what were you going to say?
But the game I got recently for my DS is Scribblenauts.
Oh, Scribblenauts.
And I didn't even know it came in this great condition, but it's literally got like all of the like original like packaging and like the booklet and everything.
Nice.
So it's pretty cool. I haven't played it yet because I haven't had time, but I'm looking forward to messing around with it.
That's really cool. Alec would be very excited.
Yeah, I very much remember as a kid.
Yeah, Alec brought an N64
Ooh.
and his modded Wii.
Yo.
And then recently, Nintendo Switch actually added the ability to play certain Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games to the Switch
I think
using
it's
the online pass thing. So you can play Mario Kart Super Circuit now.
What's Super Circuit?
It's another Mario Kart game. I've heard it's like the worst one in the franchise, but
Imagine being like, hey, you guys can play the worst game in our franchise now. Isn't that awesome? And everyone's like, yay.
big selling point. Nostalgia. You hate this. You're right. I nostalgically hate it. Yay.
I guess is that how people are actually like taking it though?
You can see someone 10, 20 years from now pulling out some bad show or bad game and it's like, hey guys, remember this thing? Remember how it sucked? Let's watch this. Or let's
Yeah,
play this.
let the She-Hulk watch parties commence.
Yes. You guys want to burn your eyes out with bleach? Well, this is even worse. This is
Selling point.
no!
What happened?
I was in second. I was in second.
What position did you get?
7th.
I got 12.
I was in second for just a brief moment.
Dang it. This lobby is killing all my points, and it's
Are you playing online with random people?
Huh?
Are you playing
we
online
are
with
playing
random?
online with random people. A lot of them are Japanese because it's.
They're all freaks of nature. That's all you need to know.
I didn't want to choose that track.
They're too good at the Mario Kart. They're too good.
Yeah, some of them are too good. Also, Japan has so many brilliant people that there's not enough jobs for the brilliant people.
I don't know if that's how it works, but
So a lot of them are
This
stuck.
guy's a genius, but not the most genius of them all. So we're
That's-
not going to
and
hire
that's-
him, and he's now going to be refined to Mario Kart.
And that's when you get a lot of people moving over to the United States to take on like engineering jobs. It's like, it's like, Daddy. It's like,
job.
it's like, Daddy, where do immigrants come from? It's like, well, son, what a nation loves immigrants very much.
they build a wall.
No, no. They build ports for boats and buy plane tickets. I think that's technically closer to how it works.
Land something or other. What's the term?
Colonizing? It's
Like when
different.
they have no water connection.
Oh,
Landlock?
Landlocked.
ah.
Going to build a harbor for our landlocked country.
Hey, look, Mongolia has a navy. Remember that.
Mongolia.
If
Mongolia.
you remember the meme I sent a long time ago, the Mongolian land navy. Submarine will get you.
All I know is that the United States press secretary said Canada in a live interview. So
Wait,
I
they
think
said
I'm fine.
Canada?
She said Canada. She it was a mess. Like, I forget what the conversation was about, but she was stuttering words out left and right, trying her best to form a sentence, and she ended up saying Canada.
That said, Canada sounds a lot cooler than Canada. I'm from Canada. Like,
I mean, I'm a big fan of Canada, but when someone in a pretty high office
oh yeah, it's different.
I don't know what the Canadian government thought about that, but they would probably not be too impressed or happy.
Canada, eh?
I'm sure they were polite about it though, because it's Canada.
Where did this whole Canadian people are polite thing come from? They're not polite. They have
It came from people who
maple
don't know who Justin Trudeau is.
leaf. Yeah, exactly. Justin Dodo.
Ha ha!
I missed the
Boomer joke, Bill Burr.
Got him good.
Bus! No! No! Come on! 10th!
When are we starting our podcast, Tamar?
You know, I was just thinking about that. I need to figure out.
I'm getting really close to starting my own commentary channel. Like, I'm starting to lay the groundwork.
Oh, nice. We got Optimus 2.0 here.
Optimus?
Oh, you haven't seen Optimus's commentary channel?
No.
Hashtag sub to Optimus.
Wait, you want to start a, like, political commentary channel?
Yeah, political, religious, social commentary kind of thing.
What, are you gonna call it Corbin Uncensored?
No. It'll be absolutely unrelated to the Thorbin channel. It's meant to be a, quote, secret channel, or not, well, maybe not secret as much as it and my Thorbin channel are not to mix.
Yeah, makes sense. It would be Impulsive 2.0.
I think we've already kind of settled on a name.
Oh, wait, what name?
I'm trying to remember what it is at the moment.
You know, I've kind of had this thought of maybe. I've had the thought of maybe doing, like, just for the fun of it, some streams of stuff, different things I do.
Nice.
Like Mario Kart, for instance. Or stuff.
I will say, it is really hard to grow, especially on YouTube, if you're only a streamer.
That is true.
That is true.
You're copying me. That's
If you're
plagiarism.
not going for that, then yeah, it's not a big deal.
Yeah. Like me.
I
Like, I'm
started
not.
streaming just kind of for the heck of it. Say, because there's so many times fun things happen, and it's like, oh, let's record these.
Oh, this track sucks. Absolutely sucks.
Yeah, I actually started this with just the main intent of documenting what was going on the Card 3 server. Like, that's kind of like how it started.
Yeah, that's how you, Nate. I think that's how you started too, was it not?
Not yes and no. It wasn't really documenting what's happening, well, in the server or even in the hall, as much as was just recording what me and friends were doing on games. And it's like, hey, fun things happen. I would love to have those recorded so we can, I don't know, have them as memory.
Oh, I'm glad you recorded some of the early Halo playthroughs.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Some of those are just absolutely amazing.
I actually could certainly go back and rewatch those. Those are very
Great
funny.
Wesley home run is.
I don't know if they're still on my YouTube channel though. They are at least there, but they might be unlisted.
Oh,
If you have the link, you might be able to find them.
Yeah, they're pretty buried. You kind of have to.
They might still be there. I do have a Halo playlist, and they would be there.
Yeah, that's the only way I was able to find them was through the play. Shock dodge.
Every time I want to hit something with a star, I always run out of it right before I hit it.
That's not great. Oh, there's a stupid amount of stars behind me.
I fell behind, and I really fell behind.
I got a piranha plant. What is this supposed to do for me? Except screw me, get me 7th, I guess. I got 7th. But all these Waluigi. Bro, can we have an anti-Waluigi convention for once?
Yes. See, this is what I've been advocating for, so. The Nate and Amar show, man. That would be a fun
Oh.
time.
That would...
that would be. I mean, I'm excited to do a podcast that doesn't exist. I'm actually looking forward to
Today, Nate and Amar debate.
debate.
I don't know if it'll be so much as debate as discuss, because
Yeah.
we agree on a lot of things, but we agree for different reasons. We have different outlooks on it.
Yeah, that always keeps things fun. I feel like.
Yeah.
So, you guys debate which cartoon show was the best ever.
I do not nearly have as comprehensive an American pop culture education as I would need to make a judgment on that.
I think it would just be a matter of personal preference, but I think Phineas and Ferb is a strong contender.
I mean,
Did you
the right
hear
answer is
that-
always going to be The Amazing
Did you
World of
see
Gumball,
that
with the
they're
runner-up being
making
Backyardigans, but
shows for that?
Yeah, I saw that they're going to be doing another season of Phineas and Ferb. I'm not supremely happy about it.
Why are there 5 Waluigis in front?
I want people to stop touching properties that are already perfect as they are. Let them die. Let us treasure them as they are, and rather than risk destroying it, because I don't trust anybody these days to actually handle any of it well.
I don't trust anybody for anything.
Right now, DreamWorks is one of the few movie studios that I still trust to make a good movie.
Are there
Or
any other
just
movies?
has the ability to make a good movie. Animated, I guess. Movie.
I mean, DreamWorks doesn't make really much of
They don't
any
do like that.
of real life.
Yeah, it's true.
The cars are moving. I know I said that when I'm playing Mario Kart, but it's Coconut Mall, and the cars were moving that used to stay still on the course.
Oh yeah, they changed that actually in Wave 2, so that's been an old hat.
I'm so glad they changed it.
It does now.
All right,
I will
y'all.
say in time trials, the cars don't move
Oh, boo.
All right, I'm gonna head
But,
out.
because
Yeah,
at
if
that
you
point-
ever want to discuss like what we're thinking for a podcast thing, or what we would do with that, let me know.
Yeah, for sure. I just, my main thing is I just need to figure out what schedule makes sense, and I won't know that until I get into these classes I'm trying to get into with this university. But they've been dragging their feet with the process of getting me in, and we're like 2 weeks away from when the class is supposed to start. So I'm getting a little bit apprehensive here, but. Yeah, once I'm in the classes, then I'll be able to do other things. There's a lot of other things I want to do too, like buy a car and stuff. But I've just been waiting on getting the classes squared away before starting other things.
What are you doing classes on?
I don't even remember at this point. They're like 3,000, 4,000 level IT courses because I need to hit like a certain amount of credits.
So it's
To,
IT stuff though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, are you still taking? So
I'm gonna need to
Where
hop
is
off.
the
Noah,
classes
'cause my
from?
console's is like out of battery.
Oh,
wait, why is your console about out of battery?
Because I've been chilling on my nice chair, keeping my foot up instead of on my.
Oh,
all right.
Interesting.
Peace out, y'all.
See ya.
Alrighty, thanks everyone for tuning in. Thanks for everybody who's subbed for subbing as well. It's pretty fire. Appreciate everybody who shows up in chat. I know today was kind of like chill, a little bit more chill. Spending more time on the Car 3 server. Next stream on Thursday, I will be spending more time reacting to you guys' chats. One of these days I really need to do just a straight up just chatting stream. That'd be fun. I was actually thinking about doing something like that today, but there was just too much going on between everything going on in Ohio, like East Palestine, the explosion, and combined with what was going on with Cedarville University, with like, you know, from stabbing to Title IX controversies and the walkout protest, the backlash to that, and then I guess what might be a revival going on at Cedarville University. But yeah, be keeping track of everything. Peace out, y'all. Thanks for tuning in.
I wish I made a lot more guys before I met you.
What? Why do you wish that?
Now we have to make you for the rest of my life.
Wow, you whore. Never have I ever jacked off to Ashley's Instagram.
This is the problem with America.
It is confirmed we have low testosterone.
The problem with America. Stuck in America, in America, in America. Oh, with the green hair. Goblin. Stuck in America, in America, in America. Oh, stuck in America.
You're my queen forever.
Stuck in America, in America, in America. Oh, stuck in America.
I love you as much as I love these reasons.
Stuck in America.
Queen.
Stuck in America.
You are my queen forever.
Hey, I now have some custom-made merch available. You can find it in the link down below.